All right, what I'm going to do here is record a Spotify that I have up on some of the issues that came up. And I actually made a Facebook post related to it. And what I'm doing is I'm using the AI to go back and to um, to evaluate what's in the content. And in the content, what it can do is it can evaluate the audio and then take the audio and compare it back to the records that I've uploaded, and then it will pull out the various infractions that are mentioned within that context. Um, so I'm talking with the CareFirst. It may just figure out that I'm talking to CareFirst and social worker, et cetera, et cetera. And I have some of that in the text. So I can give it some guidance on what it's to look for, and then it gives you some surprisingly good results. Um, uh, so I'll ask it to do. I'll work on the AI part of it and the forensics while the video plays. So let me go ahead and bring up the Spotify, and we'll take it back to the beginning.
And like this last guy, he was putting recommendations. The manufacturer doesn't make sound recommendations.
Here's the beginning.
Recommendations. The manufacturer doesn't make sound recommendations. Excuse me. Recommendations. The manufacturer doesn't make sound recommendations. Excuse me. I had to reset my recorder because I got to share stuff with my wife so we can get our stuff together. The manufacturer doesn't make recommendations to have safeguards around the medication, and that should be important not only for the patient's quality of life, but also the quality of care aspect of it. Like I had to pursue myself getting a neurologist. They wanted to send me to a psychologist. If you're taking medication that penetrates the blood-brain barrier, I think it is foolish, unwise, uncaring, and negligent not to have a neurologist involved, because you're sending chemicals into the brain, and that's what causes the CNS effects, which can be severe. Like, so I've heard some of the patients, they go running down the street naked down the road, and then they're taking off the medication, but they're taking off the medication perhaps for the wrong reason, because because they end up running down the road crazy because either they can't handle it or it's new, but the problem is that they're given poor guidance before they take the medication. Do you follow me? Like they don't know it's coming, and their family doesn't know it's coming. And that's what causes people to break. I've been on and off this medicine about 3 or 4 times, and I know what it's like going up and down on the medication. The medication, like, it doesn't cause a high or anything like that. There's no high, and I think that's also something that the doctors, one of the doctors seems to think, and I had to get rid of him. Like, and I finally had it with him because the medicine doesn't, it like, in me at least, it doesn't cause a high. It's not like I'm on I don't know, like I'm taking a whole bunch of no-dos or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like, or fin, like the truckers used to do. Doesn't do it. It's like it actually, for me, like, if it's at the right dose, like the lower doses, it actually causes fatigue. And that's why I couldn't get them to understand that they're reading the label rather than listening to the patient, and then at the same time opening me up to more cancers and tumors. Like, my number one goal is to stay alive. If I stay up another 2 hours a night, but I don't have brain tumors, that's really good experience for me.
Mhm. Oh wow, that's a lot. It's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, I tried to pack it into 2.5 minutes. I tried to pack that into 2.5 minutes. Yeah.
Are you looking for, I guess, something like more along, like, are you looking for a lawyer or looking more kind of like on a state level?
I'm looking for both, and if it's got to be federal, I'm looking at federal, because my goal is to make it less likely. I know you can't prevent everything from happening, but to make it less likely that any of those events, like, whether it has to do with the medication or whether it has to do with patient treatment, patient care, consent to, the contact and stuff like that. Because when you're paralyzed, like people think that they can put their hands all over you, and that's wrong. I was only paralyzed on one side, but people were doing things to me that I could do for myself. and they were doing it without asking. You know, it's like it's a rather undignified way to, it makes you feel like you're being humiliated on top of everything else when they treat you like a piece of meat.
Yeah. No, that's not somebody who, is having medical issues need to be treated when they're trying to recover. So I completely understand where you're coming from. What I can do is I can definitely look at what, is out there, who to contact for any state complaints regarding, filing, I guess, a hospital. Now, you said it was UT Southwestern, correct?
UT Southwest Dallas. UT
Okay,
South. I'm
UT
sorry. I'm trying to.
Dallas.
I have swallowing issues, but I'm trying to eat
It's
a
okay.
carrot. I'm trying to eat it. I'm trying to eat a
Take
carrot. I heard carrots are good for cancer. Cause like I do care about my health. My health's my number one priority. But excuse me. Oh, it's like I need some water. I got some water. I'll be right back. Let me get some water.
Okay.
I wasn't recording that well. I never want my children to be in a hospital and have to go through what I went through. This is a bit of what my process is. I'm trying to document it. Today's September 20th, September 20th, 2025, and the issues are significant. Like right here, I'm trying to focus on different types of things to see, what I can truly understand, and a lot of times I can't understand everything. People tend to be squeamish about my use of artificial intelligence, but I can do things like analyze audio video files, like right here, and I'll put that prompt in, this prompt in again. I can take this prompt here. Let's see if I don't lose anything up top, and I can build myself out a different case profile like this. Oh crap, didn't mean to do that. So how many? Yeah, so this is the kinds of these are just on single issues. That's the Lieutenant Laredo case. So I can go ahead and do. I have that stored to a document. I hope I have all that. All right. So, but don't lose the prompt associated with that. Have to be very careful. Okay, so where's the prompt? Okay, I don't have a prompt there. I don't have a prompt there, so I should be good if I can go back up there and recapture that. Okay. Okay, there we go. Okay, we're going to drop that prompt in here. And now this is going to go nowhere when I try to file this criminal complaint with the city of Garland. But I've tried to store my prompts so I can rebuild this if I have to. Take some time to do that. The arrest date was virus. Okay, we're gonna save that. Go back to the audio.
Oh, go ahead. Go get your water.
I have one.
like this joking right here. Like I have swallowing issues because I had a tumor in my mediastinal region for like a year and a half, and I kept wondering why, and then asking them like if they could just irradiate it, but they said, "Oh no, let's just watch it." Now it's pushing on my esophagus, so it's half closed, so I can't even eat a baby carrot. And the whole time I'm in the hospital, like I'm not the nicest person to start off with. I think being nice is actually like less than being the smartest person in the room. If like I'm very frank, I'm very open, I'm like, when I can be, I'm vocal about what's done with me and what's done with my body. And I went in there, and I was definitely frustrated with my experience, because everything that happened to me, I told them was going to happen to me if they continued on the course they were going with my treatment. I experiment. Like too many chances. To me, all the chances to me were unnecessary, because for the doctors, if they if they make a mistake, they still get to go home and have dinner with their family.
Right.
This here is always a critical point that I'm trying to make, is that when doctors make a mistake, they get to go home. It's not as big a deal to them. For someone like me, like I'm the patient, I'm very mistake averse. Like I don't like a lot of risk. This flow chart here that I made, that doesn't seem like much, but this flow chart here kind of lays out some of what happened to me at UT Southwestern, and then I've actually made a document that you can feed into artificial intelligence to get a better readout on what happened. Let's see if I can bring that up. That document's over here. Well, I got a lot of stuff open. I'm going to close that one because I can always find that. That's the chaplain conversation. Let's go ahead and shut this camera off here. If I can get to the right window. Shut that off. That's the chaplain one, and this is the group think that happened to me when I was in the hospital. So I made this flow diagram, and I could using even simple logic, or like it's a flow diagram. It's like a map, like a military map, and it shows, like how things got to be so crazy. What I discovered as I made this map as attempting to make it, was I had to run a flow off 5 different directions. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4 different directions. There's actually a 5th one in there that I have to get to capture like all the different roles and stuff that came into play. And then this is going to have to tie into another file that I have, where I haven't quite built it in yet. Let's see if I can find it. Let's see. Where I have to cover the let's see if I can find that here. Boom, boom, boom. It'll be in here. This board right here. this is a board I made when I initially got out of the hospital. I was trying to map what was going on to me. And then right off from the very beginning, let's see if I have any details on this, the properties. From the very beginning, I saw that legal affairs was a major issue, and that they were really holding up a lot of research. I have a picture I took on the 6th, but I have some older ones of that. And this board's been iterative. I'll go back to playing some audio here.
I, on the other hand, I get to go to the morgue. And like one of the doctors, I even have a video of this going back to this, like December 23rd of 2022, where I'm having a conversation with my doctor. It might have been December 22nd of 2022, it's more likely. I was talking with one of my doctors, and he said he's concerned about my quality of life. And then when I gave my answer that, hey, I'm doing fine, I don't think that you should reduce my brain protection. I'm paraphrasing this, but what he said was, then I'm not paraphrasing this. He said that he told me that I sound emotionally invested. Those were his actual words, and he said that was affecting my reasoning. And I looked at him, and I have the video of us talking. I have the video of us talking, and it was a telehealth, and he consented to be recording. I'd be happy to send it to you. I would love to send it to you. I would actually love to send it to you so you can understand how truthful I'm being. Like he said to me that that I seemed like I was emotionally invested, and that it was affecting my reasoning. And I looked at him and I said, yes, I am emotionally invested in staying alive. And he couldn't understand my position. And I had to deal with that for a couple years. No, and you know what he was doing at the time? He was the same medicine that was supposed to be protecting my brain. He was going to make a recommendation to reduce the dosage. That's where this whole thing started, I think. And then, so now, look at me now. 3 brain tumors. They actually took me off the medication to try me on another medication. And it turned out that my cells are cross-resistant to that my tumor cells are cross-resistant to that medication. And my issue with that is that there was an existing test that they could have run on my tumor tissue, and they could have done a biopsy or something, or found a way to do a test to find out if the medicine was going to work before they gave it to me. And I have a copy of that test now, where it shows they ran the test after my tumors came back, and I started having the swallowing issues, and I started getting pain under my collarbone. And and like, if you want to understand like the struck by lightning 11 times thing, let me put it to you like this. Let me ask you this question. How many people do you know who have been paralyzed in their left arm, okay, and then got it back? Like, I was paralyzed in my left arm for 9 months. How many people do you know who had a paralyzed vocal cord? I had that was paralyzed. That was actually they told me that was going to be permanently paralyzed, but it came back when I went on to the Brina, which has helped a lot. But it's helped and hurt a lot. It's helped a lot in a lot of ways, but it's hurt in a lot of ways because people don't know how to use it. They don't know how to prescribe it. They don't know how to put the protections around it. And then I've had a broken rib. I'm not blaming anybody for these things. I got cancer. These things happen. I almost choked to death in the hospital, and I had to explain to the people in the hospital, this is my 3rd stay over there, my second stay over there is back in probably 2021. They didn't have a deep suction room in a machine with a guy who was a choke or suffocate risk with breathing issues. And then I had to explain to the nurse, tell the first nurse to go get another nurse, because I knew that she was inexperienced, and she wouldn't, she was still in college. And then she went and got a bigger nurse. And that nurse couldn't get me the equipment either. So they called out, and they got the equipment there. And when the equipment showed up, none of them were trained to use it. I said, "Give it to me," and I started deep suctioning myself. By the time the guy showed up to deep suction me, I'm dead serious. I had a friend who was visiting at the time, and we still talk about it. By the time the guy showed up to deep suction me, I'm trying to remember. Like I'd already started the process myself, because and nobody they didn't immediately act because quote unquote they weren't trained to do it. You know,
Wow.
and it's like I understand rules, but but I'm dying here.
Right,
you know,
right.
you know.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, and don't get me
That is.
started. I'm not even done yet. Like
I'm sure you're not.
so
I'm
then
sure you're not.
then we can go through. I had hands like a crocodile for about 6 months while I was on a cancer medicine that didn't wasn't giving me any protection, and cancer's growing in me too. But the side effect made it so I couldn't use my hands more than 3 days a week. They would swell up. They would swell up, and all the skin would break off. I was just talking with a lady at an oncology clinic where she had been prescribed cancer medicine, a different one, and the medicine that she was prescribed to her by a non-oncologist, and she ended up like that for a year and a half. Like when I saw her at the oncology office, I thought she had cancer because her arms were broke out so bad. And she was like,
The party you have called
putting CeraVe all over her
cannot
arms.
be reached.
Christopher
You may
Boris.
leave a message or transfer
that's
to
not
another
who he's
extension.
supposed to
To
talk to
leave
me
a
on the phone.
message, begin
It's gonna be
speaking at the tone.
Lieutenant
When you have
Laredo.
finished, push star, then pound, or just hang up. To transfer out of expressions, push 0.
Hi, Lieutenant Laredo. I have no idea why they would put you on a phone for a Detective Christopher Boris. That does seem odd. I'd like to find out from you if that seems odd. And I have no idea why they would divert me away from reporting crimes that are Texas Penal Code to the UT Southwest Police Department. That seems odd to me. I do know that my wife and son and daughter and myself have some lawsuits that we could file with UT Southwest, but we don't have any civil processes underway with them. We're trying to do everything the right way. And by the right way, I mean the legal way. Like we're trying to use the available processes, and it's a lot to learn. Everything kind of hinges on this. UT Southwestern, and I'm going through my medical record now, and it's really quite clear. Like, in order to discredit me, they have to convince everybody that I'm insane. Now, here's the problem. They have an error in my medical records that goes way back that I'm a bipolar and schizophrenic. I'm nothing of the sort. And I'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. And I'd be more than happy to get you a couple reports that, reports about, what might really be going on here, so that you can start doing some investigating. My number's 214-715-4864. I'm going to have to get my wife a civil rights attorney. I was hoping it wasn't going to come to that, but I'm going to have to get my wife and son a civil rights attorney. I think part of the problem is that they realize. Oh, actually,
You have 15 seconds of recording time left.
they might realize that the things that happened to me might represent as much as $50 million in damages. The $50 million.
Talk because I could see that she was in pain. I told her what I did was I would fill my gloves. I would fill up like blue gloves, like blue nitrile gloves, like the Blue Man, and I would fill them with Vaseline, and I would wear those for most of the day. But I didn't even figure that out until after I got to a dermatologist. You know what the dermatologist told me? The dermatologist told me that 90% of the patients on those, and she might have been lying about the number or exaggerating, but she said 90% of the patients on that medication have this issue. Do you know who told me I was going to have that issue before I took the medicine? Nobody. So I went around not thinking, not even, like I thought I had fungal infections. I thought I had mold infections. Like I was going to all the wrong doctors because I didn't want it to be my cancer medicine. It couldn't be my cancer medicine because they would have told me that, right? But they didn't.
I would think they would. They're supposed to tell you like side effects.
The dermatologist I saw was in the oncology clinic, and she works in the next door office to my doctor.
Wow.
And it's taken me some time to start putting it together, but it's how is it possible that I took that condition and I did one or two doctor's visits over, with the doctor about it, at least definitely one, and they looked at my hands and they said they didn't know what it was. You're
Yeah,
giving
that
these.
doesn't sound
Are
right at
are you
all.
are you not reading
Yeah.
your other patients' charts? So like are you unaware of the suffering that you might be causing, or do you just want to see how far it runs, like how much they can take?
Wow.
Cause I'm gonna tell you, like when your hands swell up to so you have sausage fingers, it's actually very painful, and
Oh
they would swell
yeah.
up until they split, and then the skin would fall off, and then they would heal up, then they heal up over like a couple day period, and then I would go through it all again, and I did it again and again and again. Like I went to the beach with my family, and I did enjoy myself. I won't lie, I did enjoy myself, but I was unable to enjoy myself as I would have been if I could have stuck my hands in the sand or the water.
Mhm.
Okay, and then like let me keep going. There's more. Like there actually is more to the story, and then and then throughout this experience, then I got discharged like with an insomnia diagnosis. I don't have insomnia, and that was used, I believe, as part of their attempts to paint me as a person that lacked the capacity to make decisions. They kept trying to get my wife to
Mhm.
make decisions. I'm not even sure. I think I might have even taken my wife off as a person to make decisions for me because she's very emotional about the whole thing. I'm not.
Got it.
Like I used to have another person on my power of attorney and a medical attorney, and my wife agreed to it because she wouldn't want to pull the plug on me. And I said,
Right.
I wouldn't want to put her through it, so I had somebody else set up to do that. Like and
Mhm.
then I thought, like I think I pulled her name because I thought it would be better if the just let the physicians do it and just take that load off my wife if that should have happened.
Mhm.
Um, but they were trying to bypass my consent. So like when I have all these other
Oh.
things behind me, and I have my chart messages and everything I sent them, and they have been slow walking releasing my medical records. Like I have a couple like four very legal looking letters from them where they indicated that they're not going to provide me services over anymore. It's like, and they sent those letters out before they knew I was under new care. Like it's like, and
Wow.
I
That
indicated to
yeah.
them that they might have screwed up, but I did also.
Mhm.
I will say that when I was in the hospital, I probably got to that piece of medical equipment that I needed to get to faster than anybody in history
Mhm.
because they sent some well-spoken people, about a team of them, up to my room to talk to me about my coming gamma knife
Mhm.
surgery, and like I should say a team, like there because I had so many doctors in there. I kind of assumed that there were probably 5 doctors in the room at the same time, and they're explaining to me
Mhm.
how they were gonna get me into that machine in about a week. Do you know how long it took them to get me in that machine? They got me in the
Oh,
next.
geez, I don't.
They got me in the next
Do I
day.
want to know?
They got me in the next day. They
Oh
got me
wow.
in the next day. Like like I so I am happy about that. But like they had reason to move swiftly, and part of it was my condition, but but a large part of it, I think it was, hey, we got to clean this up fast,
Right.
because
Yeah,
like
but you shouldn't have to go through any of that.
I
And that's
like
really a shame.
I like the like I showed up with cancer. The rest of the problems, I just didn't need them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly. Well, what I can do is I can send you. It's called It's through the state of Texas Officer of the Governor. So basically, it's called ombudsman. So it's a complete process for anything that's going on with you. I think that might be your best bet, and I'll email you the information as to like how go about doing that, the complaint and everything like that. I think that's going to be your best call for that. That's like at the state level.
Okay.
Um, hopefully it'll get resolved, but to some degree in regards to that. Um,
I just
it's
want to know
called
if someone's honestly looking into it to start off with, because there are two. And what do you think of, like, what's your knowledge about, like, Texas Health and Human Services? How thorough are they?
I don't know. I really don't know how Texas is, to be honest. I don't know. I haven't worked with too many people from Texas, to be honest.
What do you?
To
Okay,
really,
tell me how it works in your state.
well, it depends. It depends on who you get assigned to you for the complaint process. I've worked with a couple people here because I'm in the state of Maryland that they will do sanctions against facilities for what's going on, and they will have somebody go out and talk to people, and they can be very thorough, and very helpful.
Okay, and do they typically, because I have 2 complaints filed, and no one from Texas Health and Human Services has so much as called me.
Right, so they're above them.
But no, but
So-
so now the ombudsman's above them. Okay, ombudsman. Oh, good, because no one from
Yeah,
Texas.
yeah.
If they were I'm the only witness.
But you have the recordings, you have
I
the
have,
videos.
I've notified them that I have that, and no one
Right.
has even called me.
Right, and that's concerning too, regarding that. So I think, the ombudsman would be your best bet in regards to getting something done.
Okay.
You have the documentation already.
Okay, so
but
it's State of Texas Office of the Ombudsman.
yeah, it's OMBUDSMAN, and I'll send you the website, and that way you can review it yourself and the phone number in order to call to speak with somebody.
Okay, and then what about with Blue Cross Blue Shield? Because they're like our Blue Cross, our CareFirst, they're paying for my stay there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think they want to pay for visits like this? Because I want you to think on this. I checked out AMA, right? They wanted to send me to another inpatient facility, okay, for a duration. Like I saw something about a physical therapy recommendation. I'm like, oh no, we're not doing this. I'm not letting them pick where I go. They're recommending inpatient. I've been able to come home and rehab myself. I don't think they should have been recommending more expensive care locations. You know, because they weren't assessing me. They were pushing towards all kinds of things that were bad for me. And but as far as speed of recovery, they definitely had speed of getting me into surgery. But as far as speed of recovery, I think that Blue Cross or CareFirst would have been wasting money with them. I really do.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah,
can't.
do you have
what
a waste?
We're gonna pay for or not.
Oh no, I'm not asking whether you're going to pay for it or not. That's not where I'm going. I'm asking,
Okay.
is there somewhere at CareFirst where I can file to have them look into the billing to find out if they had to get an independent review to find out if the recommendations that they were making were simply just more expensive, but without a medical benefit. Do you know, I refused a number of different medications. They were offering me anti-seizure medication. I have no history of seizure, and a neurologist had looked at my scans, and I had not had a seizure. But yet they came in there, and they were trying to give me anti-seizure medication. What I actually think is they were trying to give me that medication for something else, but I refused that medication because that medication I'm paralyzed on one side of my body, and they were offering, and I can't get up to go to the bathroom. That medication had side effects that included incontinence, and it had side effects that included muscle weakness and dizziness. Is that something that you would give to somebody that's trying to learn how to walk? Right.
That's a good. I don't know. That's a really good question. No one has ever asked me that.
Can you find out?
I don't know. Have you spoken with your nurse care manager, Miss Blair? Maybe she would know.
I don't think that she does, because that's why I want to talk with a social worker, because this seems like it would be more in your area of expertise. Because she said that you would be the one that would help me be able to understand what resources are out there, like this Texas Office of Ombudsman. I never would have heard about that if it wasn't for you. And you're in Maryland.
Right.
And you're in Maryland.
Yeah.
Nobody in Texas
Yeah.
will talk to me. Nobody in Texas will talk to me. I've even
Well,
called. I've
this
even.
is
I.
Texas,
I even.
so
I
that's a
even.
good thing.
I even called the state of Texas Attorney General. Nobody in Texas will talk to me. I can't like nobody.
What?
Nobody. The Texas Health and Human Services. I wrote them a very long email, and it had with bulleted items, but it wasn't like long, like pages long. It was like a 2-pager, but because like with it was paragraphed out, and then it was had bulleted. Hey, these are the issues, the types of issues that I encountered. So it was a much shorter email than this conversation that we're having. And I asked them to open a complaint. I haven't received a call, and I haven't received an email back from them. And you know, like we're at 20 days have passed, and actually I think I contacted them perhaps on sometime around the 10th or the 11th, and then like I have an like like I know that with everything that happened, it's very easy for them to paint me as a problem patient if they're the only ones allowed to describe what happened. But
Right.
I'm also the only one with audio and video. They don't have that.
Right.
But nobody in the state wants to see it. Do you see my problem?
Yeah,
Nobody
no,
in the
I see your
state wants to
problem.
see it.
So I think the office of ombudsman would be your first step, and then if you don't get any resolution, I mean, you might consider speaking to a lawyer about it, whether it's a malpractice suit or not.
Yeah, like malpractice would be only one issue, right? Because I got patient
Right.
neglect. Like because I was sitting there urinating and the guy's falling asleep in my bed, you know. And then do you know what happened when I tried to report that? I said like hey, I want to report this. Everybody would like people would actually turn their badges around and walk out of the room. I had a
goodness.
chaplain walk out of me on an advanced directive when I told him I wanted to report that I was being maltreated. I had a chaplain walk out of me in the middle of an advance directive. I believe, I think that's an ethical violation. You know, like you don't walk out on a person in the middle of an advance directive when they have three brain tumors. They just came out of brain surgery.
Right.
Like you stay there and you let them finish signing the documents. He turned his badge around and like I already had his first and last name. I gotta find that recording, but I already had his first and last name, and but he didn't like he wouldn't give it to me again after I told him I wanted to report maltreatment. It's throughout the institution. When I checked out, I had people from operations there, and the last guy who was in my room with me, who was watching me, I very much doubt that he was a trained health professional that where healthcare was his primary job. He didn't know where the lift straps were. He didn't know how to help me in and out of the bed. He didn't know where anything was in the room. And when he would go over to the computer to type, like he would do this thing where it was like watching a baby play a piano. He was tapping he was using like 4 fingers, but the fingers were all together. He wasn't really typing or anything. You know, like and like that. So another aspect of it is I was starting to feel that I was being involuntarily restrained. Like there's no reason to have a bed alarm on a guy that's paralyzed on one side of his body when somebody's sitting in the room. There's no reason to have the bed alarm. And like this last guy, he was putting that thing on me, and that's when it started to come together for me. That something's wrong here. They're angling for something. And I called my wife, and then I called the City of Dallas Police, and the City of Dallas Police referred me to the UT Southwest Police, and I had to drive the point home with UT Southwest Police. You better get somebody up here now. Like I didn't, but I specifically did not tell the police why. And the reason I did not tell the police why is because the police, what I know now is that operations and the legal department and the police, they communicate to each other over certain issues, like even open records requests. It goes to legal. If you ask to do an open records request through the police, and I had a lieutenant explain this to me, then it has to go to the legal department first before they release anything, which means they doctor the reports. Okay, So I had the police officer come up. I didn't tell the police officer why I showed up. So when the police officer showed up, nobody knew why I was there, right? And so they couldn't tell him to go away, right?
Right.
So now it's an awkward situation for them. But not like it's still quite awkward for me because I don't know how it's going to turn out. So then when my wife shows up, my wife doesn't show any ID, right? She doesn't show any ID. These people have never seen my wife before in their life. They let her check me out. Yet they put,
Oh my.
hey, tell me about it. And then they let a woman who didn't show ID check out a patient that they were saying may lack mental capacity. Like if you know anything about the the legal landscape around mental health care in that particular phrase, like that's basically saying that hey, we think this person might be a danger to themselves and others, but we won't let them walk out on their own, but we'll let them walk out with another person that we don't actually have a mental status for or an identification for. Does that make any sense?
That doesn't make any sense at all.
I've been challenged by it. I'd like to stop spinning my wheels around on it and hand this over to parties that might be concerned that hey, somebody like a patient could be injured or hurt or traumatized for life by an experience or even die as a consequence of either negligence or have an event happen and the family never get a real explanation as to what happened. So I'm like, again, I feel like the guy who's been struck by lightning 11 times. I feel like the guy's been struck by lightning 11 times, but I happen to have a camcorder with me. That kind of guy.
Right.
So,
good thing that you do.
Yeah, so if somebody said that they got struck by lightning 11 times, you wouldn't believe them, but if they showed you video, you might, right?
Right.
And if you're a police officer doing an investigation, and I told you that I had video, you'd want to see it, right? They haven't. Even the UT Southwestern police have never asked for any of my audio or video. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to fight these people. I'm afraid of them. And so I left that place in fear.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to live in fear or anything like that. All right, let me do this. Let me send you that information for Ombudsman. But I also wanted to ask, did you receive my email with the other resources that we had discussed?
No, I've actually been out front. I've been TikToking in the front yard, in the backyard, doing like I
did it last week.
Oh, okay. Last week I might have okay. Just to understand, last week I just learned how to walk and use my right hand again. So I'm a bit behind. I'm and I know it sounds over the top, but like it's like I've been really pushing my body hard, and I like the TikTok, and I'm doing it to document my my physical therapy, because I feel like someone's gonna say, oh, he checked out against medical advice and he should have taken our care, and he's not and he's not doing well because he's not working out and stuff like that. Like they were having me do like 30 minutes a day. I'm doing like 10, 12 hours a day of rehab.
Right.
You know, like it's working, and that's back to the thing. I want to find out from you what, like, if you have a waste, fraud, and abuse department over at CareFirst.
I can definitely look into that, absolutely, and
because I think if
yeah.
people at the state don't want to know, they don't want to know because they're not paying for it. I think people at CareFirst would want to know because they are paying for it. I'm not asking them to file criminal charges or anything like that, but
just to kind of look into like your medical files that they're being sent.
Take a look at it, because why are you trying to give a patient medication he doesn't need? I'm not paying for it. CareFirst is paying for that. And if they're giving me medication, then I left there one time and I was on 24 of 25 different medications. At one point I was on like 30 different medications. You know, wow. and you know what? About 60-70% of it's about 60% of the medications were to treat the side effects of my other medications. It's like a never ending thread. I had two plastic totes that filled up the bathtub in my first 6 months, 7 months of cancer, that were just full of medications. And most of them the medications I was able to get off them by using natural remedy. You know, now I can't say that I didn't need all those medications, but I had such a high number of medications that my wife had to make a spreadsheet, and we had to have a spreadsheet on a whiteboard, a chart on the whiteboard to keep track of them. We had to have a big whiteboard up there to keep track of the medications, and we could only put half of them up there. We could only put half of them up there. There wasn't enough room for you to use human-sized handwriting on a whiteboard and write all my medications.
Wow.
I feel like they over-medicate. I feel like
right.
just running up the bill.
Right. Okay. Well, let me look into that and find that number for you.
Okay, and and so I want you looking at waste, fraud, and then if CareFirst has any resources for patient advocates.
Got it.
Okay, let me in a moment. Let me get your phone number. Hold on. But when you give your phone number, I don't need to record that. I'm gonna write it down. I don't want to record your number. Okay, I'm not recording now. What's your? Okay, hold on a second. Let me make sure I'm not recording. Because I don't like to record people's phone numbers. Okay,
and you already have my email address.
Yep, but don't repeat your Gmail address unless I stop recording. I don't like to record any of your personal information.
That's fine.
My
email address is it's my first.
You have a very long name. Hold on, let me rewrite that.
I do.
Okay. All right, because I don't like to. Okay, I don't like to record people's email addresses or phone numbers and stuff like that because sometimes people accidentally give out personal ones and their businesses they don't provide them with their own phone, and I don't want to be carrying carrying around a bunch of people's social security cards. I don't want to be like that. Okay, and that's at
CareFirst.com.
Okay, CareFirst.com. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please help me get some resources together that on the private side, my thought is just let people take the parts that matter to them, because there are so many different things. There are criminal elements to it, CareFirst doesn't get involved in that, but there are civil elements of it that CareFirst doesn't get involved in those. But there are quality of care CareFirst does. CareFirst has a reputation to maintain, and if they have a business in their network that's railroading their client, and charging them extra for it, I think CareFirst is going to care about that.
Absolutely. So yeah, get that information to you. And you said you weren't sure if she's.
I paused it right there because I found out that CareFirst didn't seem to care much about that. Let's see if I can throw myself up there. Yeah, it turns out CareFirst, they didn't care too much about it. The CareFirst Quality at least didn't. So I'm going to try to get in touch with the Civil Rights Coordinator and go through them. CareFirst Quality won't do any type of investigation because Texas HHS is involved and they're a state agency. I need to get back with the social worker and see if I can contact the ombudsman, because I have just more and more stuff has come up. If I bring up this document here, I'm still working on it. This one here. That's my open records request. I need to save that. I'll save that in a second. Boom, boom, boom. What do we have over here? This one? Nope. This one here. If I start going through different things that need to be, if you go through some form of litigation, you start seeing that there are a ton of items. And let's go ahead and change the layout on this to landscape. It just helps with a lot of viewing. But there are just a ton of items to bring up to the ombudsman that have come out of this. Now, I have dollar amounts attached to it, but I don't know if it's how realistic those are. But look at the sheer number of incidents that I have documented. and everything. All this is a validator map, so everything goes back. And it's still incomplete. Still incomplete. Like a lot of this is associated with my child. Like he never should have been in a room where the types of things were happening. And, that he witnessed. He just never should have been in that room. This is all just associated with my child. Yeah. Just what he witnessed. That's it's insane when you start thinking about it. The number of code violations there are. It's insane when you start looking at the number of code violations. Nope, I'm not sure if that's recording the right way, but we're gonna stop that there, and then I have to keep working on getting this put together. I have to go back through the validator index to make sure that all these things are correct. I need to get the it's just a ridiculous number of cases of charges to file. All right, that's the end of that one.